Hello and welcome to the Knit Shift episode 2. My name is Laura and today is Saturday, March 28th, 2015. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time watching, welcome. If you're coming back, thank you very much for sticking around for my second episode. As you can see, I'm in a different venue than last time. Last week I recorded in my living room sitting on the floor, and this week I am in my office / craft room. And my setup obviously is the location's different. I'm using a microphone, which I'm sorry is visible. I'm trying my best to keep it out of frame, but for the best audio, it kind of needs to be peeking out here. So apologies for that. You can find me online at theknitshift.com, which is where this episode will live. I am on YouTube. If you do a search for The Knit Shift, I should pop up. I am on Ravelry as Yarnstormer. I'm on Instagram as Laura Mahalski, which will be visible on the screen. It's kind of a weird name to spell, my last name. And coming soon, I am hopeful to be on iTunes. It's a work in progress. I'm working on it, learning a lot that I didn't know about with the internet. So hopefully by next week I will be on iTunes. We'll see. So again, thank you for watching. That's enough housekeeping stuff. How have you guys been? I hope it's been a good week. And I want to thank you for, if you watched episode 1 and gave me feedback, thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. It means a lot to hear from friends and people I don't know about how this is going, so thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. It's not been too crazy of a week around here. I work Sunday through Thursday, and I'm off Fridays and Saturdays. So I actually worked last night, Friday night, because we were shorthanded, and I generally welcome the opportunity to get overtime pay. So I picked up a shift last night, so my knitting time this weekend is not as much as I would like it to be, but after I record this and do all that I need to do with it, I'm probably going to sit and knit the entire day, and I'm really excited about that. It's been a week of tidying. My parents are visiting. They're going to be here Thursday from Ohio, and I'm really excited to see them. And for the past few weeks, I've been, I'll tackle this part of the living room, or I'll go through my books, and my boyfriend and I have done a few Goodwill runs with stuff just to kind of declutter. Even if they weren't coming, I think I would want to just do a little spring cleaning and tidying up. You can see I'm sitting in front of my stash right now. I did a little reorganizing. You pull stuff out and then you don't put it back, and the top of the shelf had random bits of yarn on it, and I just felt like it was too messy for my liking. So I decluttered it, and now it has some knitting artwork, which I can talk about at another time, and a little sheepy stuffed animal, and that guy right there is Baymax. If you have seen Big Hero 6, it's a really sweet animated movie, and he's a robot. He steals the show. So, and apologies if you hear barking. Gracie is out in the rest of the apartment, and I have the door shut, and this door is right by the front door, and she feels the need to bark if people go up the stairs, which are right outside. So she's a good little guard dog. She sounds really fierce, but she's really a big wimp. So I apologize if there's barking, and I might have to stop and pause and re-record once she's done. So yeah, I've been tidying, and this isn't a house cleaning podcast, for goodness sake, but I found this crazy recipe. I don't know if it was Pinterest or BuzzFeed or where I found it. If you want to get stains out of your carpet, it's a mixture of peroxide, lemon oil, and water, and you spray it on and scrub it, and it's like magic. It does not, you really need to dilute it so it doesn't stain your light colored carpet. You can always add a little more peroxide in, but it worked fantastically. So I will link to that if you are someone who feels like you need to get something out of your carpet. It's pretty cool. So enough cleaning talk. That's not why we're here. We're here about the yarn, for goodness sake. So, but first, before we get to the yarn, two more funny things. One more funny thing I want to tell you about, and then, one other thing. So I work in a newsroom. I'm an editor. I work evenings, 4 to midnight generally. I produce a website. I edit stories. Sometimes I'm kind of the news editor at night, which ostensibly means you're in charge. So I get to do a lot of stuff. And for some reason lately, this isn't my job duty, but we've had requests from scout groups to visit the newsroom. And I've given 3 or 4 tours. I'm happy to do it. It's just kind of, I think I'm good with kids. I hope. I come from a big family. You know, I love being around kids. And I'm happy to do it. But you guys, this group on Thursday tested my patience so much. It all started when the troop leader couldn't find our parking lot, and it's a 4-story building on a very busy road where you can see the name of the news organization out front, and they went past it and they went behind and were trying to come in our back entrance. It was just the most roundabout way he could have come in. So I'm getting these panicked phone calls that they couldn't find it, so I help them with that, and I'm thinking, oh boy, this is going to be an adventure. Then I come downstairs and meet them, and they were really rambunctious. It wasn't like every child had a parent there. There were probably 4 or 5 chaperones for 7 or 8 boys, and 3 dads and 1 mom, and the mom had a toddler of her own, so she was wrangling the toddler. But, you know, and they were Tiger Scouts, they're 5 and 6 years old, so my expectations were very low about behavior. You know, they're gonna be excited, and, you know, it's a new place, and rough and tumble, but they were really, really wild. And I took them to the photo department where the photo director very generously spoke for a little while and told them about his job and showed them a camera and a big lens, and it was very exciting. And then we went to the main newsroom, and I had told them, okay guys, we need to use our quiet voices. You know, we're going where a lot of people are working. We just really need to be respectful and be quiet. And it lasted for about 20 seconds, and we went around a corner and went down a ramp to the newsroom, and it was like, these kids were like tumbleweeds. They just, you know, they were like bouncing off each other like pinballs and whacking each other, and I put on my best mom voice. If I'm not a mom, but if I were a mom, this is what my voice would sound like, because it's the voice I use when I find my dog chewing up a Kleenex. I said, "Excuse me, young men, what did I just say? Please come back here right now. Be quiet." And I'm never someone that like talks to other people's children in Target. Like, I might smile at a cute baby, but if I see a kid misbehaving, unless he's putting himself in bodily harm, in harm's way, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. That is your child. I would never impose myself in the situation. But when you're in my house, Tiger Scouts, you gotta follow my rules. So they were just totally rambunctious kids, and I hope the visit helped them. They needed to learn about how information is gathered, and this is now my 4th tour, so I'm kind of used to this, but I just don't know that we're going to keep doing them. It was really wild, and I woke up Friday with a sore throat. In fact, I recorded this yesterday, and just the audio was not quite what I had hoped it to be, and there's probably stuff I could do after it's done to improve it, but I just thought I need to find a better setup. And I felt like the white background was kind of boring. If I can avoid that, I would. I like seeing when other podcasters are sitting in front of their stash, or they've got posters on the wall, and my white wall last week I just felt was kind of ugh. So, okay, so we're almost 10 minutes in, and I haven't even talked about any knitting, so I'm sorry for that. Let's get right to it. I have one finished knit to show you this week. I didn't even show you this work in progress last week because I just hadn't been knitting on it. I'd been knitting only on that baby sweater, which I will show you in a minute. But I knit myself a pair of mittens just in time for spring, and I really like them. Let's do this way. I'll try them on so you can see them on the arm. I have a pair of mittens that are made out of hand spun, but the cuffs are like, they end like right here. And it's like, you know, I'm tall, I'm 6 feet tall, and my coat sleeves are almost short as it is, so I always have skin peeking out. So I made these with the hopes that I could make nice long cuffs, and, oops, I dropped one. And I made them with nice long cuffs in the hopes that, you know, I wouldn't have that problem anymore, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. I think I just said this, I did not use a pattern. I just kind of made it up as I went along. I started with the cuffs, 2x2 ribbing on size 2, which is 2.75 millimeter needles. I have notes, which is why I keep looking down. After the ribbing in size 2, I switched to a US 3 and I did stockinette. And I went up, and then I started the thumb gussets where I did increases on each side. And then when I felt like it was a thumb-shaped, like, thumb-sized gusset, I put some stitches on waste yarn, and I joined back up, cast on a few new stitches here, and I'm quite happy with how my picked up stitches worked out in the end. I don't think it looked too messy. There, I've woven in all, these are blocked, and I've woven in the ends. I've never rotated my wrist like this. This is kind of awkward. And then, you just knit up till you feel like it's long enough, and then I kind of did decreases similar to a toe, like if you're knitting a cuff down sock. I kind of did a slip knit and a knit 2 together on each side with the last stitch on each needle was a knit stitch, and I'm really happy with them, and I kind of like how this little bullseye thumb turned out in the end. So these are knit out of Online Super Sock Sport Weight. It's 6 FACH in German. I'm thinking that means 6 ply because the sock weight is 4 ply, 4 FACH, Fach. I don't want to slip and say a bad word. I'm guessing it's Fach. I don't speak German. Online Super Sock Sport Weight Bambini color. I got this from littleknits.com, which is a great store if you want to find some discounted yarn. They often have good deals on random German sock yarns, which I like. So I didn't even use, this is what was left. I used like half a skein, perhaps. Maybe a little more than half, even with these really ridiculously long cuffs. So my new mittens, I'm very happy with them, and now they're going to go live in a closet until winter. So I'm in part of Virginia where we get really hot summers and we don't have much of a winter. I'm in Southeast Virginia, so I really don't think we'll be having much winter weather. It is like cold and in the 40s today, but that's not mitten weather as far as I'm concerned. So that's my only finished knit this week. I also have 2 works in progress to show you. The first is the baby sweater that I was knitting last week. This pattern is called the Sweet Baby Sweater by Carolyn Wiens, W-I-E-N-S, Wiens, I don't know. Last week this was kind of like this was a flat piece of fabric. It's a top-down raglan style sweater, and you knit back and forth as if it were a cardigan, and then you join it to knit in the round. So it's like it's a pullover, but here where this V is in the middle, I'm gonna pick up for a button band and put buttons. So it's kind of like a Henley sweater, kind of like a Henley top. So I'll hold it up closer so you can see. So this top yarn, this crazy yarn, is an opal neon. I don't recall the colorway. It was a gift from a friend in a swap. That looks okay. And then the brown is Knit Picks Stroll in buckskin. And I don't know that I've ever knit with Knit Picks Stroll before, but it's a really nice little sock yarn. I'm hopeful it holds up well. I mean, it has merino nylon. I think it's 75-25. But I like it, and they've got a great color selection. So I will probably buy more at some point. So the sleeves will also be brown. It's just kind of meant to be like a touch of the multicolor yarn. So I haven't been knitting on this too much because I picked up a pair of socks that have long been hibernating. And I have to confess something. I'm a hardcore sock knitter. Like these 2 squares and the 2 right here, that's all sock yarn. I love socks. I love knitting socks. I've knit about 110 pairs, I'm guessing, over the past 7 or 8 years. Sometimes I've knit upwards of like 25 pairs a year. I'm pretty hardcore. don't want to make a big deal about it. Whatever. But lately I've not been feeling the socks. I've not been feeling the sock love. At the end of last year, I just kind of felt like I wanted to move into more shawls, and I knit my first 2 sweaters last year, and I just felt like there was a whole new world I wanted to explore. But I knit that pair of socks that I shared on episode 1 for the editor who was leaving my newspaper, and they just kind of lit a fire under me, and now I keep thinking about socks again. So I feel like I'm back. I felt off kilter when I wasn't crazy about socks the past few months. And I feel like I couldn't even admit it to my friends. And I felt like, I mean, I know my friends wouldn't judge me, but when I'd say, you guys, I'm not really feeling socks, they would say, oh my God, Laura, are you sick? Because I'm a sock knitter. Like I show people how to do toe up, and I spread the gospel of the fish lips kiss heel. Like, that is what I do. So I feel more like myself now that my sock mojo is back, because of these socks, which have been on the needles for 3 months, which is a long time for me. I can usually turn around a pair of socks in 2 weeks, and if I knit them 2 at a time, toe up, that really helps me keep it going. That's the fastest way I knit. 2 at a time, toe up, magic loop, bing bang boom, you got your socks. So this yarn, I really like this yarn. This is Jinx yarn, and in my head it's spelled Gynx. And for the longest time in my head I called it Ginks. Like, I thought it sounded like a very scientific name, but then I was with a friend and she called it Jinx, and I was like, oh yeah, I felt really silly. It's a self-striping yarn. Blues and silvers and golds and 2 shades of green and burgundy. And I bought this in early December because I thought, oh my gosh, this is like a Christmas in a sock yarn. And I like the idea of having new socks for Christmas. I've never really pulled it off, but I like the idea of it. So I knit 1 sock before Christmas. And I like this striping yarn because it's not like most self-striping yarns where it's just solid. These are like semi-solid stripes. You know, you've got the 2 greens, burgundy, goldy brown, silver, navy, and then here's a better shot of the 2 greens. It's just so pretty, and it's a merino nylon blend. It's called Power Sock. It's 75/25 merino nylon. I knit these toe up, Judy's Magic Cast On, Fish Lips Kiss Heel, 2x2 ribbing, Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off, all on a size 1. So you'll see on the first sock, look at how perfectly the stripes are. You know, they were not broken at the heel. When I got to the heel, I turned and I used the other end of the ball of the yarn so that I would preserve the stripes on the front. And I felt very proud of myself. My friend Kate mentioned that, and it was like my mind was blown. Oh yeah, I can keep the stripes going. So cut to this week when I am knitting the second sock, which has long been paused, like since January, has been paused like halfway up the foot, like here. So I was at a car dealership getting my oil changed this week, and I was like, I got my sock mojo back. I'm gonna knit the heel of this sock. Let's do this thing. So I'm there, I'm like watching knitting podcasts and knitting along, and I do the heel turn, and I'm like, yeah, awesome, look at me go. And literally, as I'm doing the last round on the heel, it occurs to me, oh, the stripes aren't matching. Dang it. I forgot to turn. When I got to the heel, I forgot to take from the other end of the ball of yarn to preserve the stripes. So now it's beautiful, beautiful, red, green, or green, blue, green, red. Well, crap. Some people might rip it out, but I am not one of those people. I will just chalk it up to a lesson learned that you need to knit your socks more closely together in time, or you will make this kind of mistake. It's okay. I kind of like the idea of socks that don't totally match, but this is not the way I would have gone about it. So hopefully I will keep trucking on these. Maybe I'll have them done next week. We'll see. And my parents will be here next weekend, but I'm still planning to record. So we'll see how that goes. They are not staying with my boyfriend and me. They're staying out at the beach. They like to fish. And I'm going to my mom's a knitter and a crocheter. I mentioned last week that she just knit her first sweater, and I think I'm going to have to drag her to my local yarn store for an adventure. So there will be fishing, there will be yarn shopping. We're going to visit a brewery in my neighborhood because my dad likes craft beer, and it's the best brewery around, we think. So I'm very excited to see them. It's been almost 5 years since they came and visited me down here in Norfolk, so it'll be really fun. So those are my 2 works in progress. And this brings us to a segment I like to call Yarms, because for some reason I started saying, oh, some yarms came in the mail to my boyfriend. I don't know, it was just kind of a weird thing I started. But I won't call it, yarms throughout the episode. Just the segment is Yarms. But I have no yarn to show you guys, because I bought some stuff online this week. But it has not arrived yet, so it will have to wait for next week. I did get some pretty awesome mail, though. I have a friend, an American friend, who works in England, and she hooked me up with some British chocolate, like, whoa. I don't know if you saw this in the news a while back, but, we have Cadbury's products in America. We've got Cadbury cream eggs, Cadbury dairy milk. But the thing is, it is not the same as the dairy milk in England. The dairy milk in America is made here. Its first ingredient is sugar. The dairy milk in England is made in a way in which the milk is the number 1 ingredient, and you can totally taste the difference. And the English is superior, is the point I'm trying to make. I studied in Manchester for a semester and got in the habit of taking the bus home from school, from class, and having tea with my flatmates, and I really grew to like Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate, like a little treat to have with a cup of tea, and it was just the best. So you can get English Cadburys here, but Hershey's has sued to stop the import of English Cadburys because there is a concern on Hershey's part that there could be product confusion. Hershey's has the trademark to York peppermint patties. Cadbury's, I believe, owns a company or makes a product called the Yorkie bar, and there's concern about that. And there's a candy called Malteser in England and here, and they are different products, I think. All I know, the main thing I understand is that the dairy milk is not going to be imported anymore, because Hershey sued and won. So I was thrown into a tizzy. And I haven't even been eating English dairy milk that much. It was just the idea that if I wanted some, I could go track it down online, or, I think Cost Plus World Market sells English candy. And some grocery stores do. Like, my Kroger randomly has, like, an English food section. I don't know that it has Cadbury, but there are avenues in which you can get English Cadburys. Well, I asked my friend in England if she would do me the huge favor of buying me a bunch of Cadburys and mail it to me. And she mailed it about 2.5 weeks ago, and it got here Thursday. And you guys, she totally hooked me the heck up. And now I'm going to show you like 5 different kinds of candy bars, and she sent me at least 2 or 3 of each of these. I'm not kidding you. I have a box next to me with like 18 candy bars. She sent me this massive bar, which has crunchy almond caramel pieces. Yes, please. And this is huge. I mean, like, this chocolate is the size of my face. She sent me the traditional dairy milk. This is the classic. This is the old standby. She sent me dairy milk caramel. Delicious. Kind of like caramello bars, but better. She sent me a Time Out, which looks like a Kit Kat. And she sent me Maltesers Teasers. And she sent me Cadbury Roses, which are little foil-wrapped candies. They almost remind me, if you've seen Brack's Pick-a-Mix, B-R-A-C-H. candy. I haven't seen them in grocery stores in years, but we had them growing up, like the little foil wrapped toffees, except instead of toffee, these are like 8 or 9 types of candy. So she totally hooked me up, and there was an adorable card with a hedgehog in it. She's a knitter. She makes beautiful sweaters. She's very cool. So I have a box full of candy, and the minute this is over, I have to admit, I broke into one Friday before work. I had a cup of tea and some chocolate. It was like, oh, the best thing ever. But as soon as I'm done with this, I have to put it up because I'm so worried I would leave it on the floor. It's on the floor next to me, and then my dog would get into it. So it's living on the kitchen counter for now because there's so much chocolate, it doesn't fit in my cabinets. So, no yarn, but sugar in the mail. Thank you, Blair. Okay, what else is going on? So after yarms, this brings us to a segment I like to call Yay! So this will just be where I talk about some knitting patterns I've seen, or podcasts, or just something cool. So first up is, I want to give a shout out to my friend Kate, who hosts the Stitch Addiction podcast. She is at helloknitty.net, and her podcast is on iTunes. And I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't already, because she is an awesome knitter. She makes beautiful socks. She started this whole movement to knit a pair of socks a month. You get 12 paper bags, put a skein of sock yarn in the bag, and then pick a bag on the first of the month and knit socks from that pair. And I did it last year, and it was so fun because I used yarn that's been like lingering in my stash, but I just keep overlooking it, and I made socks with all this beautiful yarn. It was so fun. She's a wonderful spinner. She started drop spindling, I don't know how long ago. Not even a year. Maybe a year. And she got a wheel, and she's churning out this beautiful hand-spun yarn like it's her job. It's beautiful. It's just, she's got an innate skill for knitting. But most of all, she is just the nicest human being. She has been helping me figure out, and by figure out, I mean fumble my way toward putting this podcast on iTunes. She FaceTimed with me yesterday and helped me with it, and she's just an awesome person. And if you like yarn, and if you like spinning and cross stitch, she's also an avid cross stitcher. So please check out Kate and Stitch Addiction on iTunes or at helloknitty.net. So thank you, Kate, for everything. And thank you. You mentioned my podcast on your show last week, so I appreciate it very much. Thank you, friend. Kate is going to be at Maryland Sheep and Wool, as am I. We're actually staying at the same place, and we will be there. So if you're going to be there, let me know, and maybe we can meet up. I would love it. So, on to the next fun thing. Walking Dead. Who watches it? Anyone? I won't spoil anything in case you're not caught up, but this Sunday is the season finale, and I am really stressed out about it. There's been a lot of death and destruction this season. I am really worried about Daryl Dixon, who is this kind of he's a motorcycle riding, crossbow carrying loner, and I'm very worried for his safety. It's a 90-minute episode Sunday night, and the show stresses me out so much. Like, I work Sunday nights, and then I get home at midnight, and if I'm feeling brave enough, I will watch it at 12:30 in the morning alone, and then go to bed at like 2 and try to sleep after watching that stressful show. But I am just already, like, my stomach is like, I'm just really nervous for this season finale. It's been a really good season. Really good season. I have not read the comics, but the show deviates quite a bit from the comics anyway. But I'm really enjoying it. So if you watch Walking Dead, let me know. I'll get to the knitting part of Yay in just a minute, but there's one. Okay, so last week I did a lipstick of the week, and I'm doing it again this week. I have it here. Oh, yes. I'm wearing it. It is a YSL Glossy Stain, which comes in this pretty cool container. This is definitely a treat of a lipstick for me. It's pricey. It's sold at Sephora. I had friends who raved about it for years, and I finally bit the bullet and I bought one, and they were not exaggerating. It's a really nice product. It has this nice little wand. And it just goes on really easily. And you have to let it set for a couple minutes. But once you do, it's on there and it stays shiny. It does come off. Like, you can't just, it's not like one of those commercials where you drink water and, you know, you drink your coffee out of your mug and there's no lipstick on it. It will come off. But it's a really nice product. It lasts a really long time, and every time I use it, I get compliments on my lipstick. I have 3 tubes that I've bought over about 3 years because it's definitely like a rare treat for me. I would rather spend that money. I would rather buy a skein of sock yarn than buy this lipstick. Let's be real. But this particular tube of lip stain has a funny story attached to it. So, when I bought it at a Sephora at a mall in Virginia Beach. And I was so excited. It was a new color. It's not like I was replacing. I own 3 colors of it. 3 tubes, three different colorways. Oh, and by the way, this is shade number 10. Will this focus? I don't know that it matters. It's shade number 10. You don't need to see the number. Whatever. I was so excited to try it on that I get in the car and I put it on. And I like take a selfie because, you know, I want to see how it looks. And I decide to text it to my boyfriend. And he does not care about lip gloss. But I was like, oh, I feel really cute in this. You know, I'm gonna text him a photo. So I did my best, like Tyra Banks smizing. Like I did one of these, like the hand wasn't here. I'm moving the hand. I don't know why my hand is here. It wasn't like I was trying to be a model. I was just like, you know, just a little smile, looking cute. So I texted to him, except I texted it to the wrong phone number. He had recently upgraded his phone, and for some reason I chose his old phone number, which I thought I had deleted, but it hadn't deleted out of my contacts, so it sent it to his old number, which was now reassigned to someone else. And I got the weirdest text message back. I have to show it to you because it's so weird. I ended up having to block this person because he was sending me weird stuff. Like, nothing wrong, just kind of weird. So, let me pull it up here. So I text who I think is Josh, my boyfriend, the photo. And I say, this is my lip gloss. And I say MAH. I never use, like, I always type in proper English. I'm an editor. Let's be real. I mean, I use emoji like it's my job, but I use proper English. So I text and say, this is my new lip gloss. And this person sends back a photo of Gary Coleman in a Coleman trunk, or a Coleman cooler. What in the world? And then he sends another weird photo, and he's like, who's that in your back seat? Is that your baby? You can't even see in my backseat. Like, what is this creeper? What is he? What? It has to be a man. Let's be real. No woman would do this. And the straw that broke the camel's back is, you know, and I had said, oh, sorry, sent this to the wrong person. But that did not stop him. So the final straw was he sends me a photo of Santa holding cats that are fighting. What? What a weirdo. I blocked the number in the end. But now when I use this lipstick, I think of that weird text message. It's so weird. Anyway, okay, so that's way too much about lipstick and a weird text message. So, yay knitting. I have 2 patterns I want to show you guys. I discover most of my patterns on Instagram because I start following someone and then I see a name in the comments. I'm like, ooh, let's check that out. And it's a lot. It's an Etsy dyer. So I do most of my pattern discovery via Instagram. I am not especially good about keeping up on the latest and greatest on Ravelry. But Instagram is my jam. First thing I want to show you is this beautiful pattern that when I saw it in my Instagram feed, I literally gasped because it was so beautiful. It's a cardigan. It's called Florrick, Florrick. And I kind of wonder if it is tied to The Good Wife because I think that's a name of the character. And for the next 48 hours, the design is 20% off with the code The Good Wife. So if you see this in time and you like it, go buy it. It's $6.50, so really, you're saving like $1.20, $1.30 if you don't use the code. It's not the end of the world. But this sweater, it's this beautiful cardigan. Let me pull up this photo of the back. It's beaded. I would probably not bead this because I think it stands up enough on its own. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Oh my gosh. I'm not especially hourglass shaped, but I really think that would be so beautiful on the back of a cardigan. Let me show you another one. Here's the full, this is the actual picture on the Instagram that made me gasp. Look at how gorgeous that is. Oh. And it's sport weight, so it's a nice thin cardigan weight. I'm realizing, I've knit one pullover and one cardigan, and I'm realizing that cardigans are more my speed because we really don't need pullovers here in Southeast Virginia. And cardigans in like a DK or sport weight are probably ideal for me. But it's just a very, I'll show you the front. It just looks like any old cardigan, and then you get to the back and it's like, bam, look at that. So, Floric, and the designer is Justina Lorkowska, and it's published in Letes Knits, L-E-T-E' Knits. Sport weight, sizes range from 32.75 inch chest up to a 46.25 chest. So it's really beautiful. I don't know that I'm going to knit it, but I love the sweater. And I recommend just going to look at there's about 15 projects or so of people who have knit it. It's gorgeous. The other, let me take a sip of water. I'm a little parched. Okay. The other fun thing I want to show you is another pattern I discovered on Instagram. This is a shawl. I mentioned earlier that I was in a very strong shawl phase early in this year. I don't want to say it's over, but it might be on hiatus because of socks. But this is a really pretty little scarfy shawl type thing. 2 colors. It's called Electric Ocean. This is the faraway photo. It's a really pretty lace pattern. And then it's got a nice lace edging. It's by Megan Schmaltz of the Unapologetic Knitter. She's on Instagram as SoCal Megan, and it's not the traditional spelling of Megan. I'll put it up on the screen in some text. It's called Electric Ocean because the story, I'm constantly fascinated by the creatures of the deepest ocean. Their chemical makeup allows them to glow bright greens, blues, aquas, and even pinks and reds. While I'll likely never have a chance to see these creatures in real life, I can pay homage with my knitting. Not only do the colors in the shawl remind me of the vivid bioluminescence of the deep-sea creatures, but the structure of the lacework makes me think of the fossilized crustaceans buried deep, deep down in the electric ocean. Let me show you the lace. Like a close-up. I just think it's so pretty, and I'm someone who knits a lot of really simple lace, but I feel like this is something I would feel adventurous about trying. I might even knit it in one color. We'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna knit it, but I think it's really pretty, and I wanted to show you guys. Yeah, so what are you guys working on? Let me know in the comments. I love following people on Instagram, so if you're on Instagram, please leave your username. My Instagram is private, but send me a request and I will approve you. If you have yarn in your bio, I will approve it so fast your head will be spinning. So yeah, I'm on Instagram as Laura Mahalski. And I think that about brings me to the close of today's episode. Yeah, that's about all I wanted to talk about. I was hoping to go a little longer than episode 1, and I did. So yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining me for this episode. Again, please let me know what you think. I'm trying to get better about the audio. If this mic is distracting, let me know and I'll try and figure out a better setup. For now, I think this works. I'm going to try and do it in here because I like having a yarn background. So, well, if you've stuck around this long, thank you very, very much. And please come back next week for episode 3. And I'll see you guys soon.